The question was, can you talk about shame and neglect? So I'm assuming that when you talk about the neglect you're talking about, that it means being neglected by like family, or being rejected or abandoned by family or people who really love us. For example, like when we're a child, let's say that we had an emotionally unavailable parent who either kept passing us on to like other people, or maybe we were even abandoned by our family and we went into adoption, or we just had people even in our school, the friends and stuff that we really wanted to be loved by, maybe they just kept choosing other people and then nobody wanted us. We were sitting alone at the cafeteria, we had no real like friends or people to connect with. This level of neglect that I believe you may be talking about, and you say childhood emotional neglect, that neglect is actually just a representation of what? Think of something that's more powerful than that, but is an actual action which leads us to an emotional response. The emotional neglect is what I feel. I feel neglected by, like, whatever the person is doing. That's something I'm internally processing. But the key element here of the action of what's going on, or the emotional equation going on there, is rejection. I feel like I'm being rejected by a community, by my parents or my loved ones. By Here's what's so crazy: if I am rejected or neglected by the guy who basically like fucking delivers me mail, I won't really give a fuck, right? Because who is he? He's just a random person to me. But if I get neglected by the people who I want to love me, that's a whole different fucking story. That means the same people. Why is it so different? Because I'm not expecting the postman to like love me and want to be show up for me in my fucking times of need. I'm not looking for the postman to validate my worth. But I am looking for that from my caregivers. I am looking for that from my family, my immediate like people who I choose, or I not choose, who are in my life and I want love and validation from. So if I continuously expect that of them, I want them to show up for me and love me in that way. But instead, remember what I said before, instead of that version of love and understanding and that total level of like compassion, instead I'm constantly met by rejection. Then as I'm continuously met with that rejection, after a period of time, I will stop seeing them as them rejecting me, and I'll start seeing it as me being the product of, or being the thing of rejection. I'll start looking at myself as causing the rejection. I'll start looking at myself as being the thing that's not valuable enough, and that's why people are rejecting me. And ultimately, if I do this long enough and I start to see as rejection when it comes to people and relationships, then I'll start to feel like people are completely abandoning me, that nobody wants me. And I'll start to feel like this whole sense of like I'm being neglected because I'm not good enough, I'm not valuable enough, I'm not lovable enough. Now that's a huge huge piece to hold shame around, right? That's a huge thing that motivates the feeling of shame in itself. And so when we hold on to that level of neglect and we process it continuously as shame, when we go into relationships now, we'll unconsciously look for partners who will neglect us. We'll unconsciously look for partners who will reject us. We'll unconsciously create a world that rejects us because, like I said about confirmation bias, we'll want to prove our beliefs true. Hey, and welcome to the Inner Yats YouTube page. If you like our content, make sure you click the like and the subscribe button so that you get more of these amazing videos that keep coming your way.